All right. Okay, here we go. All right. Buy and live. This real estate strategy is how we gain our financial freedom. So, I'm Walt Marshall. I'm a husband, a father, and a veteran of the United States Marines. To kick off the channel, I thought it'd be good to start with a video introducing myself. And then in the future, we'll talk about our process of renovating foreclosed homes. So my story starts with childhood of having dreams of owning real estate. My father and I, we would cut grass for landlords on the weekends. It was the first time I heard terms like duplex and 4-family flats, triplexes, and I just remember being able to collect money. Like, we would get up so early and we wouldn't even eat breakfast. And I was so hungry. My dad was like, well, we cannot eat until we make money. Kind of like my first real job working with my dad. And then the other perspective of working with real estate was with my uncle. He has his own construction company, and that's where I learned how to renovate homes. We did work for flippers. We did work for landlords where we would do maintenance requests, but I learned everything from my uncle. So as a child, I worked. I knew how to, hustle, but I did not know how to save or invest. And like all the money I made as a kid, I spent it. I bought music, movies, clothes. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps. And in the Marines, I learned how to balance checkbooks, got my first debit card, was able to pay like a monthly phone bill. So I started having a little bit of discipline on top of discipline because I had drill instructors yelling at me and everything, teaching me, to be a little bit more responsible. But the military taught me quite a bit. Now, the hardest lesson I learned, I can't say the hardest lesson, I'll say probably the most valuable lesson in money and just like seeing a contrast in America because like I'm not into consumerism. And like to even have the title of the channel, Buy and Live, is a little weird because I don't want you to buy anything. So in Iraq, we were fighting a war and I didn't have a chance to spend any money. As a result of having like a whole entire year of savings, like when I came back to America, I was like, I got so much money to bank. But that American, just kind of like consumerism just consumed me. It was like, I gotta spend this money. I gotta buy something. And like I spent that money like in less than 2 months, all that money was gone. It was gone. I eventually finished school with a bachelor's degree, came back home to Detroit, and it was like really hard. Like I was doing freelance work and was really struggling, like moving around from this friend's house to that friend's house. I had like, depression from, just being in war. I had close to $100,000 in debt. It was just like, it was so hard to kind of like even get ahead. I recall this one time where one of my high school friends, he worked for one of the utility companies. He came to shut me off. And I was like, dang, this is the most embarrassing. I was like, he comes up to the door and I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? What's going on? You still talk to so-and-so? Yeah, man. So how your brother doing? He doing good. That's what's up. I was like, yeah, like how do I get to this point of like not paying my bill? After all, like talking like maybe 10 minutes, we like, catching up. I was like, dang, so you here to shut me off? He's like, yeah, I'm here to shut you off. He said, but look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just say you weren't here and I couldn't get to it. And I was like, thank you, God. I was like, thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. That experience of spending all that money in less than 2 months taught me a hard lesson. It was like, look, you got to pull it together. You got to be responsible. When I eventually met my wife, there was a lot of shame and guilt for me to bring that amount of debt into our marriage. And she didn't have debt. She only had like a car. That was like the first debt we paid off. We still have that car today. 15 years later, we still have that same car and it rides great. When it came time to buy our house, our real estate agent, he sucked. I just took it into my hands, I remember working with my uncle looking for property. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find my house. I eventually found the house. I told my real estate agent, all right, this is the house we want. Here's the thing. My wife and I, we made $40,000 a year. At $80,000, mortgage affordability said that we should have purchased a house about $200,000. We didn't do that. we said, nah, I got this debt. We're not gonna be paying all this debt our whole life. So we lived off of one income and we bought a house equal to our salary. Early in our marriage, we were determined to get out of debt. It's like all of our television was centered around financial literacy. I mean, one of our favorite shows was like Shark Tank, Till Debt Do Us Part on CNBC. You know, we followed Dave Ramsey. I read The Richest Man in Babylon. There were a lot of different things we just kind of really narrowed in on. It was like, we have to find a way to become financially free. When we got this house, I started making improvements. And we stayed in this house for about 7 years. So when we bought the house, it was $40,000. When we sold the house, we sold it for $140,000. We pretty much like cleared up all of our student debt, well, all of my student debt, and had some money to buy the next house. After we sold our first house, we decided we would continue to renovate foreclosed homes. And I began just reading like real estate. And I read about the 3 different strategies of real estate investing. It's buy and live, buy and sell, and then you have buy and hold. Now, as you can see behind me, we're in a foreclosed duplex. There was mold, there was water damage, and everything had to go. Real estate is an excellent way to build wealth. You don't need a whole lot of money to get in. And when we bought our first house, we didn't have hardly any money because all of our money was going to our student loan debt. So that's me. In the future, you'll hear more about buy and live. My family, my wife Tam, she'll come on and she'll kind of give her story. She's an incredible woman. You'll love her. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Click the notification bell to be notified of future videos. And yeah, I'm excited about this and looking forward to seeing you all next time. Take care. Bye.